say for example, 1 kilogram of water, if you are considering, and keep a thermometer here, when you give six, I mean, specific capacity of water is 4,200 joules, I think. Okay. That I'll tell you. 4,200 joule. If I'm giving, temperature will have a 1 degree rise. That means if it is 22, it will go to 23. If it is 24, it will go to 25. It is 60, 61, like that. 1 degree rise will be there. At the same time, if you're taking iron and all, 126 joule approximately enough to have 1 degree rise in temperature. That's what, see, here 4,200 joule, if I'm giving to water, that will rise only 1 degree. At the same time, to 1 kilogram of iron, if I'm giving around 21 degrees, see, 126 enough for 1 degree rise. So 4,200 if you are giving, 4,200 by 126, almost 21 degree rise will come. That's why if you go near to a swimming pool in the hot summer, okay, if there are steel chairs, don't go and sit over there, because water may be not that cool, not that hot, but that steel chairs will be very hot. If you touch, you will get burned there. That much temperature rise will be there, especially Saudi Arabia. That's why usually wooden chairs only we are using this open spaces and all. Okay, this is a specific heat. Like that, every material has its own specific heat capacity. Similarly, latent heat of fusion. Latent heat of fusion. Fusion means melting. Latent heat of fusion. That means 1 kilogram of ice, 0 degrees Celsius, only pure ice is melting. Okay. In this, if you heat it around 3.35 into 10 to the power 5 joules per kilogram, you should supply. This should completely convert into these latecomers are really a trouble for us. See, tomorrow onwards, after attendance, already 10-15 minutes I'm taking this amount of heat. This 1 kilogram of ice will completely melt into water at 0 degree. After that, if you're giving heat, it will have a rise in temperature. So at this time, what's happening? Because if you keep a thermometer, it will be at 0 degree. It won't show any rise in temperature. Then we will surprise. Usually when we supply the heat, thermometer will show the reading. In that cases and all, see another one. In that cases and all, this thermometer shows reading there. The reason kinetic energy of the molecules are increasing. But at the time of melting and vaporization, change of state taking place. So this heat absorbed for increasing its potential energy, not kinetic energy. The thermometer can read only kinetic energy. So temperature indicates kinetic energy of the molecules. Temperature indicating kinetic energy of the molecule. Okay, see how much.
So the thermometer can only find out the change in kinetic energy.
Which one?
A thermometer, it can only see the change in kinetic energy.
We can only see the change in kinetic energy. Temperature indicates change in kinetic energy, not potential energy. That's why at the time of change of state, this won't show any rise in temperature. Even at the time of vaporization also. So that's why it's called hidden heat. We can't see it directly. Hidden heat. Hidden, latent means hidden. Similarly, vaporization time also around 2.26 into 10 to the power 6 joules per kilogram we should supply to convert into steam. So this is what we are saying. Two questions they may ask from here. See, one ice at 0 degrees Celsius or water at 0 degrees Celsius, which you prefer to cool drinks to protect, cool. For example, during travel and all, usually you take an ice box. In that ice you are putting 0 degrees Celsius and keeping these cool drinks. We can take 0 degrees Celsius water and keep this. The reason, if it is ice, for longer time, it can supply that cool effect. The reason this cool drinks, if you are keeping here, suppose you are filling with ice at 0 degrees Celsius. Clear? Then what happened? From this ice, it will absorb heat. Until this ice supplying 3.35 into 10 to the power 5, then only 1 kilogram of ice will melt into water. And throughout that time, this will be 0 degrees Celsius. So that makes this also 0 degrees Celsius, cool drinks. After that only, this will start increasing the temperature. That's why we prefer ice to cool the cool drinks, because it has the additional heat is required for the ice, that is latent heat of fusion. That much heat it will absorb from the cool drink, so that get more effectively cooled. Now steam, based on steam, question will be like this. See, scalding or burns due to steam is more severe than water at 100 degrees Celsius. Steam at 100 degree, water also 100 degree. But steam is more severe. So scalding or burns. The term scalding, S-C-A-L-D-N-G. Okay? It means burns. Sometimes this term will confuse you. That means if you're exposed to steam at 100 degree, normal water supplies the heat. In addition to that, 2.26 into 10 to the power 6 joule additional heat. Additional heat will supply to your body. So that will cause more severe burns. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Those who have joined late now, I will not give attendance. Okay. Okay. So this is about specific heat. So expected question also I have written there. To cool soft drinks, which do you prefer? Ice at 0 degree or water at 0 degree? If you read the note, everything is there. What I'm explaining. So ice at 0 degree, because ice absorbs an extra amount of heat, that is latent heat of fusion from the of material. So it makes it cooling, like that's written there. Okay. Next is calorimetry. Temperature we can measure by heat. This thermometer. But how can we measure heat from that? For this calorimetry method we are using. What is the meaning of calorimetry? Let us see. Calorimetry. Look here. In calorimetry, we have usually a calorimeter. A calorimeter is nothing but a copper tumbler, like a steel tumbler or glass tumbler, a tumbler made up of copper. So that diagram also I have given there. Okay, this look like in the laboratory it is there. Now anyway I can't show this. This is like a copper tumbler made up of copper. This is a calorimeter. Okay, small glass size, and it is kept in a wooden box completely filled with wool, because during the experiment heat loss should be prevented. There should not be heat loss. And in this, we take some water, for example. Then measure mass of water as MW. Temperature, specific capacity of water, we know it's constant, 4,200. Temperature of water is TW, that we can measure with the thermometer. Similarly, now we take a solid. This solid may have a mass, for example, this is solid. It has a mass MS. Specific capacity of the solid, we don't know, that we are going to determine here. The temperature of the solid, we may be heating it 100 degree. Okay, so 100 degrees Celsius, we can call it T2. So solid has more temperature, water has around 30 degrees Celsius, for example, depends on atmospheric temperature. During this experiment, what we do, we transfer this solid into this water and shake it. Now we know water will be heated, solid will be cooled. Just like hot water and cold water when you're mixing. It will come to new temperature. We all know that. This is called method of mixture. When a hot material is mixed with a cold material, they exchange their heat until they attain a common temperature. Here, one material loses the heat, other material gains the heat. So heat lost by the hot body is equal to heat gained by the cold body. This is the principle, very simple. Now you see, heat gained, mass into specific capacity of rise in temperature, ms delta T. S is the amount of heat required for 1 kilogram body to have a 1 degree rise. For m kilogram body, m into S. And for 10 degrees Celsius into 10 or 100 degrees Celsius into 100, that's what delta T indicating. If it is loss of heat, ms, a delta T is decrease in temperature. Remember that, okay? So here, look here. We are mixing these two now. These two materials we are going to mix now. While mixing, say here, for example, after mixing these two, okay? After mixing these two, it attains a new temperature. So we can say heat lost by solid is how much? Mass into specific capacity of solid into T2 was the previous temperature, present temperature is T. So for example, present temperature 50. This is 100. This is 30. Okay, this is 30. This is 100. This is 50. So loss in temperature is 50. Rise in temperature is 20. Like that. Okay. So here loss in temperature we need because heat lost by solid. So mass of the solid, specific capacity of the solid, and T2 minus T. T2 minus T. Okay. Now, heat gained by water. Heat gained by water. Mass of water, specific capacity of water, and rise in temperature. So here there is a T is higher. T minus TW. T minus TW. In this case, not only water, calorimeter also absorbs the heat. So we have to write here heat gained by water plus calorimeter we have to consider. Sometimes they'll ask you to ignore that heat. But here, generally, we have to take it in consideration. So for that mass of calorimeter and specific capacity of copper, because calorimeter is made up of copper, and same rise in temperature. What is the rise in temperature of water? Same rise in temperature that calorimeter also will have, T minus TW. Now equate these two. Ms, SS, T2 minus T is equal to MW, SW, T minus TW plus MS, SC, T minus TW. From here, all the term, we need SS. SS keep here, MW, SW, T minus TW plus MS, SC, T minus TW divided by MS into T2 minus T. From here, we can calculate specific capacity of solid. Okay. There is one numerical just down to that. Okay. This is, if you have numerical, just check it. In an experiment to determine the specific capacity of a metal, the weight of the solid, so mass of the solid is 0.2 kilogram at 150 degrees Celsius. TS of solid is 150 degrees Celsius. Okay, is dipped in a copper calorimeter of water equivalent. Here there's a term called water equivalent is given. That while doing numerical, I'll tell you what is water equivalent. Okay, so water equivalent is 0.025 kilogram. There's a new term I'll tell you. What is the meaning of water equivalent? Okay, so 0.025 kilogram then contains 150 centimeter cubed of water. Volume is 150 centimeter cubed of water at 27 degrees Celsius. So T water is 27 degrees Celsius. The final temperature is final temperature of the mixture. After mixing, these two will come to a temperature of 40 degrees Celsius. Specific capacity of solid we have to calculate. Okay. Now our formula: heat lost by the solid is equal to heat gained by the water and calorimeter. Very easy. Look here. So the mass of solid 0.2 into, no need of formula, directly can substitute. Mass of solid 0.2 into specific capacity of solid that we have to find out, into loss in temperature 150 minus 40, 110. This is equal plus sorry, this is heat loss. This is equal to heat gain by water plus calorimeter. So water mass we have to find out. How will you find out mass of the water? Volume given. Okay, mass is equal to volume into density. So 150 into 10 to the power minus 3 into 1000. Mass is equal to volume into density. Volume is 150 into 10 to the power minus 3 into density. Density is 1000. That means 10 to the power 3. So this cancel. 150 is a mass, isn't it? That you have to convert into kilogram. This is centimeter cube, right? Centimeter cube means 10 to the power minus 9 will come. Sorry. When you convert into mass is equal to volume into density. So volume is 150 into 10 to the power minus 3. That means 10 to the power minus 6. 1 centimeter to convert into meter, 10 to the power minus 2. Centimeter into centimeter into centimeter, 3 times. So 10 to the power minus 6 into 10 to the power 3 density. So your remaining is 150 into 10 to the power minus 3. So mass is 0.150. So here we can take mass of the water 0.150. So 0.15 we can take, okay, into 4,200 specific capacity of water that is given in the question. And loss in temperature. Loss in temperature, gain in temperature. So 40 minus 27. That will become 13, isn't it? 40 minus 27. That will give you heat gained by the water. Now heat gained by the calorimeter is required. For that, mass of the calorimeter is given. Instead, what they said, if we compare that calorimeter into water, we consider that calorimeter as water, this much heat it will absorb. That's what they are calling water equivalent. So in that case, what you have to do, if water equivalent is given, you don't have to calculate separate heat absorbed by calorimeter. Instead, that water equivalent, we are adding with this water mass. So instead of here, we have to write 0.15 plus 0.025. That water equivalent we have to add here. But
Sir,
now
what is water equivalent?
Pardon?
What is water equivalent? Can you
Water
repeat?
equivalent, that's what I'm telling you. See, actually, heat is absorbed by water and calorimeter, isn't it?
Yes.
So we have to calculate heat absorbed by water plus heat absorbed by calorimeter. So if water equivalent is given, that second part you don't have to calculate. Heat absorbed by calorimeter, you don't have to calculate. Instead, that water equivalent you will add with mass of the water. Because water equivalent means it is equivalent to water. That mass of the calorimeter, they are converting into equivalent to water. That means heat absorbed by that calorimeter used in this experiment is equal to this much mass of the water absorb that heat. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
For example, this calorimeter used in this experiment absorbs some amount of heat. Here by water equivalent, what they calculated, an amount of water that absorbs the same amount of heat for same rise in temperature. That is the 0.2025. So in this case, what you have to do, you have to just add water equivalent with mass of water. Don't separately calculate heat absorbed by calorimeter. Okay, now it's very easy, just equate it. So you will get SSE. Is it clear? So this is the only confusion. If water equivalent is given, remember that calorimeter, if we convert into water equivalent, amount of water equivalent to water, how much heat it would have absorbed. So that's it that we are converting into, we are adding with mass of water. Then all other things same. Then here you don't have to use separately heat absorbed by calorimeter. And next experiment, clearly that shows we are calculating separately. Next numerically you check heat loss by water C equal to water equivalent is not given. There we are taking heat absorbed by calorimeter plus heat absorbed by water separately. Clear? You understood now? It's very easy. If you read, you can easily understand that. Okay. Next one, mode of heat transfer. There are three types of heat transfer: conduction, convection, and radiation. Conduction is mainly seen in solids. For example, if you keep a metal rod into a flame, other end will be heated. Here what happened? Heat is transferred from molecule to molecule, but molecule is not moving anyway. Suppose in a room, you are all sitting there. I am giving a chocolate to one person. I am telling to transfer to other person. So you are not moving from place. You are distributing, sitting and giving to nearby person. So like that, this is conduction. That means molecules only vibrate, but heat getting transferred. But convection is not like that. You just go receive and go and sit back. Again, come forward, receive, go and sit back, like that. So in conduction, it is in solids. Conduction happening in solids. That means these are large number of molecules. When you are heating it, they vibrate. During the vibration, they collide with the next molecule. That also vibrate, colliding with next molecule. So this kinetic energy is transferred. I told you kinetic energy is nothing but a temperature increase. Temperature increase happening because of heat transfer. Is it clear? So like that, it keep on transferring the heat. This kind of transfer is known as conduction. But if you take a container and there is water in it, you heat it. Here you can see water in this region absorbs heat and expands, become lighter. This lighter part will go up, then heavier part will come down. So water keeps circulating here. So this kind of heat transfer, this is happening in liquids and gases. That means fluids. Based on this only, sea breeze, land breeze are occurring. For example, this is seashore, this is sea. Daytime, both receive sunlight. Land gets heated quickly because specific capacity of the solid is very low compared to water. 4,200 joules, if the heat is receiving by land and water, water will rise only 1 degree Celsius. But this will go, suppose metal content is more in land. This may go to maybe 5 degree extra, at least 5 degree faster, it's getting heated. So this will be more temperature. So air in contact with this region will go up. So from cold air will move towards land. This is called sea breeze. During night, suppose 4,200 joule, this both radiate. Then this will go 1 degree down. This will go quickly cool. Isn't it? So here what happened? This is hot. So here hot air will go up. So from cold and land, this will blow air into sea. This is called land breeze. So land breeze and sea breeze are mainly caused because of convection effect. And also polar winds. For example, equator region sunlight we are receiving is more. So here air will move upward. So from colder region, cold air will move to this side. This is called polar winds. From polar region, wind blows. Then ocean currents. See, equator region, water gets heated quickly. There water moves up. So from colder region, water flows to this side. This is called ocean currents. Is it clear? So like that, so many examples you can see due to this convection effect. Now, third one, radiation. For example, here there is a bulb. I'm keeping your hand here. I feel it warm. What kind of heat transfer is this? If it is conduction, there should be a solid between my hand and this body. Only through solid it can transfer. If it is convection, that heat will go up always because hot air always moving up. Then which way this heat reaching us? This is known as radiation. This is actually producing by vibrating molecules of a heating material will producing electromagnetic wave. This you will study in 12th standard. These electromagnetic waves having a frequency around 10 to the power 11 hertz. These waves come and falling into your body will produce warming effect. This is actually radiation. This travels with the speed of 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second in vacuum. This is, for this, a medium is not necessary. So radiation is a mode of heat transfer. For this, a medium is not necessary. Even through medium, it can transfer. but a medium is not necessary. In vacuum only it can travel faster. 3 into 10 to the power 8. It's just like a light. But if medium is there, through medium it will be traveling, but with a lesser speed. So these are the three types of heat transfer. Now we have to get some formula for conduction. Okay. Coefficient of thermal conduction. Okay, look here. Here, a metal rod kept here. And this is completely insulated from both sides. Completely insulated. This is the area of cross section of the rod. Here temperature say T1, here temperature T2. This is say 100 degree, this is 0 degree. For 100 degree, you can send the steam of boiling water, here you can keep ice. So there will be a temperature difference T1 minus T2 divided by length. This will give you temperature gradient. Or we can say delta T by delta X. That means 1 centimeter if you go, how much temperature change taking place. So temperature, suppose if it is 100, after some time it will be 99, 98, 97, it will come to 0. That's why heat is flowing from higher temperature to lower temperature throughout. This heat change per distance is known as temperature gradient. Like we studied velocity gradient. That means change in temperature with respect to distance. Here, we can equate that the amount of heat flowing per second through this solid, Q by T, is found to be directly proportional to area. More the area, naturally more heat will transfer to that material. And this temperature difference is more, you can see more heat flows. So we can say delta T by delta X. So here Q by T is equal to proportionality constant K, A into delta T by delta X, joule per second, or watt we can say. This is known as, heat flow through a material. Now K we need to define. K is equal to Q by T, A delta T by delta X. So joule per second is watt. Area will go to numerator, meter squared. Delta T per delta second means this one, Kelvin per meter, right? Kelvin per meter. So Kelvin meter to the power minus 1 meter. This is a formula for which one? K. So what is K? If A is equal to 1 meter squared, delta T by delta X is 1 Kelvin per meter. This one, okay? Then we can say Q by T is equal to K. So coefficient of this is called K. Coefficient of thermal conduction or conductivity can be defined as the amount of heat flowing per second through unit area when there is a unit temperature gradient existing between the ends of the conductor. That means if 1 degree Celsius if we can maintain and unit area of cross section, that time how much amount of heat flows, that is called coefficient of thermal conductivity. Is it clear? Right. Now, based on this, some numericals they are asking. Okay, look here. The walls of the container, the walls of a chamber. Now it's finished. Time over. Less than 1 minute. The walls of a, because it's attendance itself, more time we are taking. So tomorrow I'm making it very clear. Anyone come after 10 minutes, I will not give attendance.
So we have second last period also.
Oh. Now it's less than 1 minute. We cannot finish it. So this is a room. It consists of a brick. First they keep a brick in the room. Okay. And inside there is a cork in the room. That means suppose this room, we want to make a cold storage. So already brick wall is there. That is suppose 10 centimeter thickness.